Okay. Hello. Welcome, everybody. This is one of a kind, first in its series. You are here for the first Hot Seat Live with our VIP guest here today, Joanna Parsons. Hi, Joanna.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Right.
I feel like a proper podcaster. Like, this is quite a cool setup.
You're in your legit hot seat. Are you feeling hot? You've got so much fire going around you.
It's a fiery situation.
Yeah, we've got lots of props here today just to make sure there's lots of force fun for you all, so don't worry. But as you are joining, please let me know where you're from. We can see in the chat there's some people from all over the world. We've got Africa, we've got New York City, hello. Hello from a snowy Ottawa in Canada. Hello from Kerry Island.
Sure, Jesus, hello. I see we have Senegal and Rwanda. Like, I'm delighted. Hello.
Amazing.
You're so welcome.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited for our hot seat. How hot and spicy are we going to get today? Who knows?
You're making me kind of nervous.
Oh, well, I am enjoying Joanna's throne. I hope you all are as well. And we've got some lovely props here today. We even brought my trusty fire extinguisher just in case Joanna gets too hot throughout the session. So don't panic, everyone. But welcome to our hot seat. Thank you all for joining. Who else have we got? We've got Katie from Texas. Hello. Zachary from Milwaukee.
Look at Pauline there. Just called me the queen. So top of the class there, Pauline.
Okay. Pauline, whoa. Don't peak too soon with the brownie points. Amazing. Well, welcome everybody to Blink's live hot seat. This is a new series where we are going to leave stereotypes at the door. We're leaving egos at the door. This is a safe space, right? And we're asking our guest today, Joanna, to come and answer some spicy questions, which I feel, Joanna, is right up your street. Am I right?
I'll do my very best.
Okay, amazing. So we've had about 500 questions submitted. So as you can imagine, we don't have time for all of those. But what we're going to do is we've categorized them into some themes today. And we would also love for you to jump on those themes, get some spicy questions in the chat, because Joanna is here and yeah, she's not going to hold back.
I couldn't if I tried. I just couldn't.
There we go. So I've got a little poll. We've put the themes into a poll because we would love you all to vote. Let us know what theme you would like us to start with on today's hot seat. Here we go. So we've got proving value and getting resources. We've got positioning IC as a strategic function, not as a service desk. And I've got the future of internal comms. And the poll is telling us, oh, it's close. It looks like the winning first theme we're going to dive into, Joanna, I hope you are ready, is positioning IC as a strategic function.
Everybody's favorite topic.
Here we go. Is everybody ready? I hope we're ready.
Just okay. The pressure, lads. Oh my God.
I know. And also, everyone, there is an official Q&A function in the platform here. So please dive over to there because we will be also looking at your questions and getting those in front of Joanna, as well as all of the questions that have been submitted. But I really want this to feel like it's your event and it's interactive. And do you know what? The spicier, the better. And like I said, I've got my trusty fire extinguisher. If things get too hot, don't you worry. Right. Thank you all for voting. I'm going to dive into our first theme. Are we ready? Joanna.
Yes. Now I really feel under pressure.
Here we go. Okay. Joanna, question number one today is, where do you start in an organization that has never had an internal comms role before?
Okay, great question, because I often see people will go into an organization that maybe has not had internal comms before or doesn't really know what internal comms is. And there's enormous pressure, isn't there, to like hit the ground running. Yeah. And people tend to think that means just start doing stuff immediately. And my advice would be do the opposite of that. Just listen and observe when you're going in to set up from scratch or you're joining any organization you haven't been in before. You really want to get an understanding of the business, what the business is trying to do, what's happening with communication right now, and where are those gaps? Where are the problems that communication can solve? If you just jump into tactics and start doing stuff first, that's when you're going to end up very much as the service provider function,
right,
rather than the strategic partner that you want to be.
Getting through tasks and not working on bigger initiatives. Sponge mode, I call it.
Yeah.
Go in and be on sponge mode.
Good. So really, when you come in new, loads of coffee, loads of chats, you're just listening. Don't be doing any writing. Don't be making anything. Listen and plan and take it from there.
Great. And hopefully that feels realistic, because you know what it's like. You've got leaders, they've recruited for this role, and it's like, go, we need this, we need this. And it'll be hard, right? It's a tough pushback to say, no, I need to start sponging, absorbing, so that we can actually put a proper plan in place and set me up for success. So that's not an easy conversation or something to navigate either, is it?
No, there is a phrase that worked well for me before with leaders, which was, let's go slow so we can go fast. So let's take our time now, get this right, and then we're set up for success and we can deliver great results.
I love that. I'm someone that's a get shit done, excuse my language, kind of gal. And Sean, our founder here, always tells me, Georgie, it's okay. You need to crack a lot of eggs to make an omelette. And it's now my new favourite phrase, because it's so true. Yeah. Whereas I'm just like, crack an egg, go. Joanna, thank you. Question number 1. I think you've survived the experience. So we started off well.
Okay, good.
Okay, question number 2. How do you secure internal comms status and understanding within the leadership team?
Okay, this is the question that comes up all the time, and you'll hear this in different ways. People will say, how do I get a seat at the table? How do I get my leaders to listen to me? How do I build my reputation in a few different ways? The thing that I really want you to think about is you already know how to do this as a communications professional, because what you're going to do is you're going to think about, who is that person or people that I want to influence? I want them to think of me differently. I want to change their perception of me. We are communication professionals. We're really good at doing this. So imagine you're creating a communications campaign, but you have that person in mind. So you want to think about your CEO. You want them to think of you as a strategic partner. So you have to first think about your audience. What does your CEO care about? How can you frame what you work on and what you're doing around what he or she cares about, and speak about it in that language? Someone asked me once, like, how do I get my leaders to care more about click rates and open rates? And I said, respectfully, you don't, because why should they care?
Yeah.
But if you can explain why those click rates or open rates matter to what they are reporting to the board or what they have to care about, then you'll bridge that gap.
Good point. And Joanna, would you mind just repeating your quote? We've got a little chat here from Natasha. What was the quote? Go slow so you can go fast.
Oh, yeah.
That was it, wasn't
Go
it?
slow so you can go fast.
There you
Yeah,
go.
something like that.
Natasha, if you wanted mine, it was, you've got to crack a lot of omelettes to make. No, you've got to crack a lot of eggs to make an omelette. Okay, super. Joanna, thank you. It's about stepping into that person's shoes, isn't it? Trying to see their perspective rather than just giving them your perspective.
You know what's a good exercise as well is, like, if you want to truly change your own reputation, sometimes it's worth thinking about, well, what is my current reputation? What would be my desired future reputation? And what are some actions I can start taking to move from A to B? And generally what that is not just about thinking, oh, I want to be seen as more strategic, but what are the behaviors that I could visibly demonstrate that would make people see me as strategic? Think about it this way. If you think of someone in your office, Mary, I don't know, and you think, oh, geez, Mary's a very strategic person. What is it about Mary that makes you think that? Does she ask really good questions? Does she challenge back on things? Whatever are those visible, demonstrable behaviors, that's the kind of thing you want to think about. Am I actually doing that? Am I showing people that I'm strategic rather than just asking them to see me that way?
And it's tough, isn't it? When you're stuck in the day to day, you've got so much to get through to actually take a step back and make those observations sometimes. But you're right. Sometimes you do, and you sit and you can watch people that you admire and think, oh, Mary's absolutely bossed that conversation.
Do we have anyone on the call called Mary?
Yeah.
No.
Have we got any Marys in the house? Mary, are you this person? Amazing. Joanna, thank you. So next question today is, when internal comms is placed under HR or marketing, is that a sign to run in the other direction?
Okay. No, it's not my preferred reporting line. I would always recommend, if it's possible, if there is a centralized communications function in an organization, I always prefer internal comms to sit there. But you can make it work from no matter where you sit. I think the big caveat is, like, I had a client recently who took a job, and the job was head of internal comms, and she was reporting to HR. But throughout the interviews, she was like, yeah, it is to HR, but this lady seems to get it, and she's hiring me to be truly a strategic communicator, and it's fine. And then she went into the organization, and that all was a lie. So she was expected to just communicate about HR topics and just be the HR mouthpiece, and not work on anything else. And that was very disappointing. Now, she did all the right things and she tried all the right things and she did her very best. And after a period of time, she was like, "Do you know what? This isn't for me. I'm going to go get another job." And she did.
Right.
But I've also seen people who have perhaps more trainable, coachable leaders to show the value. And like, we're not just here to tell people about HR initiatives.
Yeah.
So it's very dependent on the person you're reporting to.
Yeah, that team, I guess, that department, whether you can work with them to carve out what internal comms should be.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Are we finding these questions spicy enough? If not, give us
that picture in there.
going. Amazing. Thanks for submitting questions as well. Keep them coming. We want the spicier the better. So, Joanna, we're still in the category of positioning internal comms as more strategic and not this service desk. So my next question to you is, what is one question that helps change the mindset of a stakeholder when they're simply asking for a bit of IC support on an initiative?
Yes. Okay. If you've ever followed me or read anything that I've written, you won't be surprised when I say that curiosity is your absolute superpower. If you want to be seen as more strategic and you're thinking, where do I start? What does that look like? It looks like asking questions. So let's say you have a stakeholder who comes to you with that old chestnut of, "I need you to send me this all staff email. I need you to make me a poster. I need you to do this tactical thing." Just ask them a couple of questions. So like, a great question is, what are you trying to achieve with this poster? You'd be amazed at how many people cannot answer that question. They're like, "I just want the poster."
Yeah.
What business problem are you trying to solve? Who needs this information and why? I think some people, I don't know if this is an Irish thing, but sometimes people are a little bit like, "Oh, I couldn't possibly ask questions. That's very rude." It's not rude. It's doing your job. So once you understand what it is they're trying to achieve, then it's a much easier conversation. You're not saying, "No, I'm not making you a poster. That's a stupid idea." You're saying, "Do you know what?
Inside, you might be thinking that. However,
But you can have that conversation around, "Now that I understand what you need, I have loads of ideas about how to hit that objective with you. Let's have a conversation about the tactics that will help you."
Yeah, be curious.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
And I think you can read who your stakeholder is to know in which manner to do that. Because there is a lot of cultural differences, right, between geographies and across the ocean. So I think hopefully you can read that and feel like you're not coming across too polite or that you're a bit more direct. And
sometimes, sometimes you won't win the battle. Sometimes the conversation won't go the way you want it to. You'll end up making the poster because they outrank you. And that's okay. Like, that's the reality of our job. So don't give up. And you haven't failed. That's been a learning.
And maybe after them explaining that, then you're like, "Do you know what? The poster is a bloody good idea."
Yeah. Let's make the poster.
Yeah, I will do what you asked. Well done. Yeah, exactly. Super. Okay, last question in this category today is, what is the biggest blind spot people have about internal comms? And does it? And why does it drive you crazy?
I think it's probably very related to what we were just talking about.
Okay.
Those words.
Posters.
Everyone's going to cringe now I say these words. I'm so sorry. Just send it out. Just send it out. The perception that that's what we do. And I think there's so much invisible work in our job. The thinking and the planning and who's the audience and what do we know about them and what language will resonate with them and what do we want them to do? And is that the same as this other audience? So does it need to be slightly tweaked? And how are we going to measure that? And what's the right channel for that? Nobody sees all of this planning. They just see the visible bit where we publish the thing or we send the thing. And I think that's probably where the battle comes of like, "Oh, sure, you're just the sending out department." Right?
Yeah. But how do you solve that? You know, do you need a bit of internal PR in terms of what you've been doing, what you've been working on? You know, should you have to PR yourself and your function? You know, how do you get around that? Or do you just internally battle with that yourself every day?
I think that, again, I think curiosity is the tool that solves this problem over time. That when you have stakeholders that come to you and every time they come to you, you ask them the questions and you don't become the sending out department and they learn to expect, "Oh, when I go to Joanna, she's actually going to ask me loads of questions," rather than just hit send on the thing. You educate them through action, I think.
But it might take some time.
Yes, it does.
Patience.
I don't have a lot.
Okay, I'm diving into topic number 2. So we had 3 topics of our sort of 500 questions. Obviously, we're not going to get to all of those, but the topics or the themes we came up with: prioritizing IC as a strategic, function, not service desk, which we just got into. Theme number 2 was proving value and getting resources, or the future of IC. So let me know in the chat, where should we go to next? Should we dive into proving value or should we dive into the future? Let me know in the chat. Joanna, what do we think people are going to vote for?
Well, I'm just wondering, did we accidentally do our nails exactly the same colour?
Oh, did we?
I think we did.
Look, got the memo. We've got matching microphones. Twinning.
We've got both. Very excited.
Okay. Well, obviously, we'll do both. Don't panic. Value.
Future.
Okay. Right. We're going to dive into value. Okay. Right. We will do them all. Don't worry. And I can see there's lots of questions coming in. So let's hope they're spicy. Don't worry, everybody. I know there's lots of flames going on around here. We've got a fire extinguisher to put Joanna out when she gets too spicy. I know you think we're mad, but it's the only way to be, isn't it?
Well, I mean, she did say on a briefing call, she's like, is it okay if I get some blow up props? And I was like, yes, say that.
Don't give the game away. Okay, amazing. Next, we've got proving value. Right, Joanna, here we go. How do you get more resources for internal comms? I bet a lot of people, actually, let me know in the chat, how many of you are a one-man band or a very, very small team or limited resources in the comms function? Let us know. So, Joanna, how do you get more resources for internal communications?
Okay, let's start with how do you not get more resources? Because I see a lot of comms teams making a very fundamental mistake when they ask for more resources. And the kind of thing they will say is this: I'm really tired. My team is overworked. We're working in the evenings. We don't have enough time to do everything. And it's about me. And I'm talking about me and how tired I am. And with all the love in the world, your leaders don't really care. They don't really care. They care about the business,
the impact.
So what I want you to do instead is think about the business. So the first thing you want to do is you want to understand your audience. Who is the person who's going to approve or deny your request for resources? So that might be your direct boss. Mm-hmm. It might be your chief finance officer, your CFO. Say it's your CFO. You want to think about what really matters to that person. So do they care that you're a bit tired or you're working in the evenings? Probably not. Do they care about operational efficiency? Do they care about saving money? Do they care about employee productivity? Do they care about minimizing risk? These are the types of things they probably care about.
And that language as well, right? Yes. Speaking their language.
Mirror their language. So find out what they care about and then reverse engineer from there. I know that my CFO for the next year is really, really focused on improving efficiency in the company.
Yep.
And then think about, well, how can internal communication do that? How can I say that if you give me X budget or X headcount or another team member or whatever it is, I'm going to help you with your problem. So it's not about you. It's about that person who's going to sign that check. And it's about impact on the business. It's the only way, because you really have to show, I think you have to remember, like there are 57 other teams also asking for more money and more budget. Yeah. So you have to make the case of like, give me this money and I'm going to give you such a good return on investment.
Yeah. And also, I think there's been some great chat here, and thank you all for raising your hands to being like, I'm a one-man band, a one-woman band. I hear you. There was also a comment around just saying no to things as well in terms of to start feeling better. Yes, we always want more resources, but that feeling of burnout and overwhelmed is important. And it is a good life skill, isn't it, to say no? I obviously can't look at the state of this room. There's just so many fun props in here because I cannot say no. But it is a life skill, right? And I think that will definitely help with even just being able to compute, then communicating to this leader to even have that conversation. But when you're so full on with the tactics all day, you don't even have the brain space.
No, it's very hard. Like I do have clients who've said to me before, yeah, I love the idea of writing a business case. I'd love the idea of sitting down and thinking about what does my CFO care about, but when am I supposed to do that?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to do that before I brush my teeth.
Yeah. But at the same time, no one's going to give you that space and time to do it. You have to find that time. Like it's important. This will set you up for success in the long run.
We've got some amazing gifts being shared in the chat.
I keep looking down occasionally. I'm like, oh my God, what is
I hope everyone's okay. Do we need a well-being check? Everybody. Amazing. And Joanna, I think this question probably leads on quite nicely. It's like, how should we maximize the impact of internal comms with such a lean team? So again, we just touched on a little bit in terms of the workload and burnout and saying no, but realistically, how are we going to maximize that impact?
Yeah, you have to be very intentional when you are a one-person team or you have really no budget and you have to do everything by yourself. And I've been a one-man team very many times. I know what it's like. A tool that I've been using with some clients lately, which I really find useful in this space, is to be thinking about your strategic involvement in kind of different tiers. So depending on, like, a tier 1 might be the kind of projects that you are really heavily involved in, end to end. You're in all the meetings, you're working on the tactics, you're really involved in the strategy. That would be for stuff that's like really strategically important to the business, stuff that really matters.
Yep.
And you're in there all the time. And then tier 2 projects are like, well, they are important, but I don't need to be in there as much. So my role in those kind of projects is going to be more advice. I'm going to give guidance. I'm going to maybe like review and edit some stuff for them, but I'm not going to write, and I'm not going to be in all the meetings. And then tier 3, you might put projects in here where you're going to pull right back, where actually this is where I'm actually not going to be involved in this, but I'm going to send this person to a bunch of resources that I've already made, templates, checklists, playbooks. Here's how you do it by yourself.
More of a self-serve model.
So you're not saying no, but you're saying, you know, according to our workflows and the way we've set up our team and what my team is focused on delivering and how we can add the most value to the business, that project is going to be a tier 2. Here's how we're going to work together. So this takes time to set up, but it can really help. Otherwise, everything is tier 1. And you're expected to be super involved in everything.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
We had a great comment. I'm really sorry I didn't catch your name. I think maybe it was Jenny, that if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. So if everything's tier 1, you're just not going to get to it. It's not going to be delivered.
Do you know that feeling where you're delivering work, but it's not very good work? You know, you're doing loads, but the quality drops. Like, I've never felt good when I'm in that position.
No, so and I'm a control freak, so I'm like,
yeah.
So, yeah.
It doesn't make you feel good. And it's not good for the business. Nobody wins.
No, you're right. Everybody loses in that situation. Yeah. What's everyone saying here today? I feel there's lots of chat going on, which is very exciting. I saw, is there an IC WhatsApp group? Hopefully it's because you're finding that this is therapeutic, right? That's what we're here for today. Amazing. And keep the questions coming in, please, as well. We're going to be keeping an eye on those as we go. So I think this is a question we at Blink get a lot, that we help our customers with. And I've seen so many, a plethora of these in the questions submitted for our hot seat session today, which is how or what is the best way to measure success of internal comms? We're talking metrics, we're talking measurements. I know earlier you were saying, how do I get someone to care about my click rates? You don't. So let's dive into that a bit more. Talk us through, like, how are you proving and measuring this is a thing, this is legit, and oh my gosh, look at the impact that this is having when you win, when you get it right.
Okay. The biggest challenge that I see when clients come to me and they say, you know, I've just finished this big campaign, we've just finished this big project. I'm struggling now on kind of how to measure it and how to report back on it. But the difficulty is that they have only thought about the measurement at the end. Whereas really what you want to do is you want to think about measurement at the start, particularly if you're talking about any kind of behavior change. I want employees to do A instead of B. So before you do any campaign, any intervention, anything, you want to know, well, what's the situation before I start? So 20% of employees are currently doing this. I want to reduce that to 0%. You can't compare it if you're starting at the end. I think AMEC have a really nice approach to measurement. That's the Association of Measurement and Evaluation for Communicators. They talk about kind of different levels of measurement. So you've got your output measures, which is where you're measuring your activity and your reach. How many people came to your town halls? How many town halls did you have? How many people clicked on your newsletter? These are good to know to see if your channels are effective or if you're reaching people. But it doesn't tell you anything about, was your communication successful? Like, maybe everybody read your newsletter, but did they do the thing that you wanted them to do?
Did they do the action or the change or the behavior? Or
A lot of people measure just that. I would recommend measuring that, but go a little bit further. So the next level up is measuring outcomes. So the outcome is, what was the behavioral change in your target audience? In other words, did people do what you wanted them to do?
Yeah.
If I think back to my policing days, I used to be head of internal comms with the Irish Police Force. I was there during COVID, and we wanted police officers to wear face masks in the police stations, like at certain points and certain times. And the HR team had done like drop-ins, and they had gotten baseline data of, you know, only 30% of them are doing it at all the times that we need them to.
Right.
And I said, it sounds like you have a communication problem. I can help you. So I had the data from the start, and the behavior change was, well, you know, here's all the documented places we want you to wear the face masks and when. And then I did the communications campaign. And at the end, that health and safety team went back and did spot checks, did the same measurement. So I was able to say, we moved it from 30% to 60%. So that's your outcome. What is the behavioral change in your audience? And then the next level, the final level, is the impact. What difference did that audience behavior change make to the organization? So if we think back to the police again, the police officers all started complying with these regulations around when to wear the face mask, and the impact on the organisation was a reduction in the amount of police officers isolating or off sick from COVID, and ultimately kept the police service running so they could look after the people of Ireland. So if you're only doing outputs, just try and push yourself a little bit more and start thinking about what is the behaviour change I want to see, how can I measure that? The wonderful thing about behaviours, they're measurable because you can see them.
You get there by being curious and asking those questions.
There you go.
Oh my God, it's all coming together.
I didn't give her money to say that, but maybe I should.
Oh, amazing. Do you know what? I'm just going to dive into my especially spicy question department because it's time to spice things up, right? My question is, and I would love everybody to answer, this is a yes or no question, so we can all vote here. What do we think? Death to newsletters, yes or no? Let's see how the chat goes. And then, Joanna, I want to know what you think. No, yes, no, yes, in capitals. Oh my gosh, we've got a real tie. I love that this is a controversial question. No, yes and no. Ooh.
It's quite mixed.
They have their place digitally, of course. Okay, it is mixed. Depends, with a smiley face. Very diplomatic answer. Joanna, newsletters, yes or no?
I love a good newsletter.
Oh, spicy.
Do you know what? I think, I think newsletters have such a terrible reputation because most of them are crap. And
cover your ears, those of you that said yes.
Sorry now, but do you know, newsletters are often almost a dumping ground in an organisation for just put it in there. You'd be amazed. I see sometimes in organisations, people have a newsletter and there's just open slots for departments to put in whatever they want. Tell me about your vanity project. Tell me about your kids' play.
Yeah, or I've got a gap in the newsletter. Can somebody fill it?
Yeah. But if a newsletter is done really well and, it's got a clear purpose and maybe it's reducing the volume of emails in an organisation, it's well written, it's targeted to the right audience, it's stuff that's actually relevant and useful. I would love to get a newsletter that I can read in 2 minutes rather than 10 different emails that I have to read.
And Natalie was just asking that, what makes a good newsletter? So I feel like that's, without even reading that question, Joanna, you've answered Natalie's question. Absolutely. Thank you. And I do think that was quite a divisive question.
Did I change your mind about newsletters? You told me earlier you didn't like
Not yet. But we've still got some time to go. Yeah. I think they have their place. It depends on the organisation.
Yeah, it depends on the audience. Everything does.
But so many of them it's because, that's how we get news out. It's like, but what are you trying to achieve,
Yes, what's it for?
Yeah. So we're singing from the same hymn sheet. All right. So topic number 3, theme number 3, everybody, the best and we're keeping best and final maybe, was to look at the future of internal comms. Let's talk skills. Let's talk AI, maybe some spicy questions in there. And let's talk general evolution of the function. Okay, don't worry, there's more spicy questions and there's also some forced fun coming for Joanna as well. She's dreading it, but let's watch this space. What could go wrong? We've got people backstage ready. Okay. So theme number 3 we're going to be diving into is the future. So Joanna, what is just the toughest part of being an internal comms leader?
Do you know what it is? And I feel like we don't talk about this enough, or maybe I'm just not in those conversations. It's quite a lonely job to work in internal comms, particularly at a leadership level. And you feel like you're either a team of one or maybe you're leading the team. And you can truly be the only person in the organisation that understands internal comms. And you feel like nobody gets it and nobody understands.
No one speaks my language.
Yeah. It can feel very kind of professionally lonely, which is why even coming to something like this and you can connect in the chat and you realise that everyone has the same challenges. Everybody has the same struggles in this job. I think that's hard. Just that feeling of isolation can be difficult.
Yes. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because even if maybe you sit in a comms team, the external comms and internal comms hats can be very different people. And you're obviously doing very different things. So it's interesting. It sounds like a lot of people are empathising at that point around feeling isolating or lonely. But hey, this is exactly why we're here, to get you all together. This is a safe space. I was saying to Joanna earlier, we listen and we don't judge. That is what today.
I judge a bit, like.
Yeah. Oh, but it's safe space, everyone, safe space. Joanna, thank you. So, second question is, name one adjective that describes the most important attribute needed to make a great internal comms professional. And before you answer, everybody, let me know in the chat. What do you think? One word. What makes a great internal comms professional? What do you think? Curious. Oh, someone was listening. Empathy. Curious. Yes. Common sense is a good start. Yes, I agree. Resilience, agility, calm under pressure. I love this one. In the marketing team here at Blink, we try and call ourselves swans. We're cool, calm, and collected on the surface, very graceful, aren't they? And then under the surface, I agree. So, Joanna, question to you. Thank you so much, everyone. We've got some more personal influencer, but you already had your answers. Hopefully, you're not influenced by anyone else. What's your one word and why?
I'm so predictable. It's curious.
There we go.
I saw some great answers in there, strategic and being able to slow it down. Someone said being able to kill your darlings. I love all that.
Very good.
I think curiosity is the foundation to all of this. And I think people are fundamentally, innately curious. Kind of gets stamped out of us a bit as we go through school and we grow up and we're told to not ask stupid questions. I'm a big fan of ask the stupid questions. I really think that if we just give ourselves permission to slow down a little bit, understand the problem we're trying to solve, that completely changes everything. If you can indulge your curiosity, you will have a great career in internal comms.
Great. And that is why you've called your tribe Curious Tribe.
Yes.
Because that's your one attribute.
That's the one.
I should have predicted that answer, to be fair. Okay, here we go. This is a great question. Whoever submitted this, thank you very much. Tips. We want some top tips. And please continue to share in the chat. I can feel you're all being very active and sharing ideas. And this is exactly what today's session is for. So thank you. So let's have some top tips on how an introvert and reflector can have presence, build relationships, and have influence with stakeholders. I know we've spoken a little bit about influence, but this is probably quite an interesting one to lean into for specifically an introvert, because it's not easy to be curious, especially if you're saying, well, why is that important? Why is that, what's the impact? That's not necessarily easy, right?
I love this question because I am deeply introverted, and it's interesting because
I want to challenge that.
Yeah, people will say to me, well, you don't seem very introverted, but it's because I'm not shy, and people think that introversion and shyness are the same.
Yeah.
Introversion, the best way I've heard it described is introverts, their energy gets drained from being around people all the time, and extroverts gain energy from being around people all the time. And how it shows up for me quite often, say when I was working in-house, I would be in a lot of meetings, but I might not necessarily be talking a lot, but I would be the best listener in that room. And I would be able to notice things or connect dots that others couldn't because they couldn't stop talking. Or I would be quite happy that when I did ask questions, they were bloody good questions. And I think if you are very introverted, you can absolutely be influential. I like to think I'm probably a good example of that. It doesn't mean that you're shy, but you're probably a very good thinker. You probably have very good observational and listening skills. And don't try to put on a performance. You don't have to be extroverted to work in comms. And I know I posted on LinkedIn once about this, and the replies went bananas. There are a lot of introverts in internal comms. So if you are one, you're in good company. You're not alone. Great
advice, I think, as well. Sometimes it feels daunting as well, but I genuinely think it's a superpower to be able to actually be one of the quietest people in the room, coming from an exceptionally loud person in the room. I think it is such a skill. And the quietest people I always think are the people that are literally observing, learning, being curious.
There you go.
There you go.
Good theme here.
Yeah. Oh, good one. We need to get that up on the wall. Curious. Super. Okay. What's going on in the chat? Introvert here, but I'm outgoing, exhausted at the end of the day. I hear you. Totally. I hate talking to people. Yeah, I hear you. It's very strong gift game today, everybody. Thank you in the chat. Okay. I'm going to do another spicy question because we're going to talk about AI. And I feel that this is controversial, especially with comms professionals, me being one of them. Okay. How do we use AI to show our value and not let it replace us? How best to integrate AI into internal comms? What do we all think? How are we feeling about AI? Are we okay? Are we excited? Are we leveraging it? Please, can you share some stories? What are you all up to? Gillian, straight in. Love it. Nervous. Love it. Love it. Leveraging it. Okay. I would say we're erring on the side of positivity in the chat. Joanna, what are we thinking? How should we use AI to show our value? Not let it replace us.
I mean, there's so much possibility. Everything's so quite new, isn't it? I think if you want to start with AI, a really good thing to just do is like look at your workload and think, are there any like repeatable, easy, tedious pieces of work that I just do over and over again that probably a robot could do for me and I didn't have to do them anymore? That kind of thing.
There you go.
Like, do you know that feeling when you're about to like send out an all staff email and you're like, I know there's a typo in somewhere, I just can't see it. That's a great use of AI. Like, get it to do your spell check for you, or get it to check your grammar, or like you can start really simple.
Great. And do you have any use cases for that when you're saying it's something, a task that you do over and over again, other than the typo? Like an example from your experience about where you think, you know, earlier you mentioned building playbooks and templates. Could that be a good use of AI?
Yes, a great use of AI. Or you can even use it for, you can play around with it almost like having an internal comms consultant on tap. And it won't be a great consultant, but it'll be a decent consultant. So if you want to get some help in, maybe you have a draft objective and you want to check, is this truly smart? Have I fitted this into the SMART framework properly? Does this really align to the goals of the business? Is there a good logical connection between what I'm doing and what the business is trying to achieve? Is there a logical connection between my proposed tactics and the objective that I'm trying to focus on? Like, it can check all these things for you rather than hiring me just to like use AI. Did I just say that?
Oh, no, be careful. I also think, you know, we spoke about it feeling like quite a lonely job, and I've asked my AI assistant to speak to me how I would love to be spoken to. It's like, hey, girlfriend, feeling fired today? Yes, because sometimes you do feel lonely in the job, you know, the projects you're working on, and sometimes it's like therapy.
That's quite cute.
Should I not be doing that?
I've genuinely not heard of that yet.
Because sometimes it's very formal in its response, and it's like, don't be formal, no need. We're pals.
Hey, bestie.
Yeah, exactly. Girlfriend, you okay today? Exactly. So you can also work with AI so that you feel less lonely. Dare I say that? It's such a weird thing to say, but we're here for it. What's everybody saying about AI here? First casualty, the M dash. Oh my gosh, yes. We speak about this a lot at Blink because we always use the M dash. Now it's a ChatGPT thing. I've never seen so many people use M dashes in their communications. Yes, but it's not a bad thing, right? It's helping us. Well, in parts, it's helping us scale. It's helping us learn. But what
you can spot, can't you, so easily when someone is doing like a post on LinkedIn that they have literally got ChatGPT to write it, they lift it and they put it. You could smell it a mile away.
But sometimes it doesn't even sound like a human.
No, and I'm like, what's the point? Why are you doing it?
Totally,
like,
yeah.
This is your reputation. This is your personal brand. This
Someone's
is what I
been
think
told,
of you now.
do a post on LinkedIn. They go, ask, help me do a LinkedIn post. But what is everybody using? Is everybody using ChatGPT? Are you using Gemini? Are we a Claude house? What is everybody using? It would be great to share the tools that people are using for best practice in this community here today to share. We've got Chatty. I say Chatty. It sounds so much better in an American accent as well. Chatty. Chatty. Who else have we got? We've got Copilot, ChatGPT. Yes, Copilot, Gemini. Amazing. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. And I feel like it comes up a lot, and it's really good. I think that we keep talking about this. Otherwise, it becomes the elephant in the room, doesn't it? It's like, oh my God, they've used ChatGPT for their comms. Heaven forbid. Okay. So we've spoken about AI. I'm sure there's some more questions on AI, and we will get to that. So, okay. We have just been given a note that there's some great questions. So I'm going to get to those. We want to know, Joanna, what's one thing you've tried in the last year? And you know what? I would actually love to know this from everybody. What is one thing you've tried in the last year that worked like a dream? I think this would be great. Everybody can share their golden nuggets. It might be a massive thing, might be a tiny thing. What is one thing you've tried in the last year that just worked really well? Maybe it's attending Blink's Hot Seat webinar.
That could be. There's something I've been doing for a while, but I think I've really doubled down on it in the last year. And that is, I do this as a consultant, but you can do this in-house for when someone comes to you with a tactical ask. So lots of people will approach me as a consultant and say, I want you to do this. almost like the way your stakeholders come and say, I want you to make me a poster.
Poster alert, yeah.
And what I have found so incredibly useful through deep listening and just asking questions, just let them talk, is I'm trying to distinguish the want and the need, because I've learned over the years they're usually completely different.
Interesting.
For example, I had this client come to me recently and they said, I want you to come overseas with us and attend our offsite and like be there with us for the full 3 days. And I was like, okay, tell me more about that. And I just listened. And over the course of 20 minutes, it became very clear that what they actually needed was my help in planning the outcomes and the objectives and designing the workshops. But they didn't need me there. And if I was there, I actually would have been interrupting the team building connection part of it, which was really important. So I was able to redirect them to set a clear goal about, well, actually what you really need to do, the problem you're really trying to solve is this. Having me there actually doesn't help that. But what I can do is ABC. And that's been really helpful to think about the want versus the need. I think about that all the time.
That's a great, I guess, dilemma, isn't it, to battle with, and trying to get to that sometimes is difficult because they cross-pollinate. So I think sometimes it's hard to know what is that versus that.
You never know. Sometimes there might be a match and you find out, you know what you proposed is actually going to solve your problem.
But it is the poster after all.
There you go.
Amazing. It looks like everybody's been sharing some great golden nuggets in terms of one thing that's been working really well as well. So thank you. I've just been told to jump to the Q&A because there's some spicy questions over there. So I'm heading over there to our questions now. And then we've got something very exciting for Joanna. So bear with. Okay, question number 1 I'm going to is Aisha. Aisha, thank you so much for your question. Do you think it's worth pursuing a master's degree in strategic communications?
The answer is it depends. It depends on what.
I thought you were going to get spicy then. You were like, ready? It depends.
I think it totally depends on your objective. Like if you are at a junior role now with not too much experience and you want to gain kind of the theoretical knowledge to build on your career, to set you up for success, maybe yes. If you are just very intellectually curious and you want to know everything there is about internal comms, maybe yes. If you want to have a qualification so you feel like you're better positioned when you're applying for jobs, maybe yes. I don't have any degree in communication. I actually have a degree in sociology.
Oh, wow.
So I don't think you need it for a great career, but doesn't mean you don't want to have it.
Thank you, Joanna, and for explaining your it depends. Aisha, I hope that's answered your question. Excuse me, I'm just leaning over to our laptop where we've got your questions flying in. Okay, next question. Liana, I hope I've said that correctly. Thank you for your question. I have a strategic mind which helps in my role, but I want to improve my writing. Are there any resources you can suggest to improve storytelling?
Do you know what's a great resource to improve your storytelling? The Pixar Storytelling Spine, also called the Pixar Storytelling Framework. They have this, I think it's like a 7-step process for like telling a story.
Oh, wow.
The hero did this and then they came across a challenge and then someone gave them a quest and then. I've played around with this. I've popped it into an AI tool once and I've made up a fake company and I've said, can you use the Pixar Storytelling Spine to tell the strategic narrative, to explain the strategy of this company to employees in an interesting way? It works really well.
Well, there we go.
Have a go, yeah.
So how do we get that?
Just Google it.
We Google it and it's there.
Yeah, Pixar Storytelling Framework, great. You'll find it.
I feel like this could be a LinkedIn series. Let's all apply this framework and get some good stories out. Super. Liana, thank you for your question. I hope that's answered it. Next question I'm going to is Eve. As an internal comms officer with ADHD, the way that colleagues engage with me in the office, just walking up and interacting my work without pause, I hear you, can be really, really difficult. How can I manage this in a careful way?
Okay, this is a good one.
Without swearing at your colleagues.
Yeah.
She didn't say that. That was my addition because I hear you.
No, somewhat like I've always struggled in open plan offices. And especially, if you're trying to write something or do something with quite a heavy cognitive load, you need to focus. And when someone interrupts you, like you just lost it. What I would do if I was you is I would have a conversation with your manager to say, do you know what? I really need some like uninterrupted blocks of time. There is a book I read once, I called it like monk mode, where 2 hours in the morning, you don't have any calls, you're not looking at your emails, you don't even open your inbox when you come into the morning, you're doing 2 hours of deep work. So I would have a conversation with your boss to see how can you carve out
Monk mode.
some monk mode time, some
Yeah.
uninterrupted deep work time. Maybe you go off into a meeting room and you've blocked off your diary, but I would try and make that work for you.
Nice. We say we're going dark.
Yeah, good.
We communicate in the team chat and we say, I'm going dark this morning. And everyone's like, Roger that. Because you just know sometimes it's like, I need to actually be offline, off Blink or your internal communications platform, off email, and I really just need to focus. So hopefully that's a nice bit of advice. Whether you want to call it going dark or monk mode, Eve, is up to you, no judgment. Okay, last question from the chat for now, and then I've got a bit of forced fun because that's what we're here for. Richard, as a small team of one, oh my gosh, I use AI as my team assistant. It's doing tasks I used to do early in my career, but how do we avoid taking away entry-level roles for future IC pros?
Richard, I was actually thinking about this on the plane over this morning because I was thinking, like, AI is so good, and I use AI a lot for like planning, and like, I'm a team of one. I run my own business. It's just me and my cat in my office. Sometimes I need like someone to bounce things off. But it did cross my mind of like, if this was so prevalent 15 years ago when I was starting my career, I wouldn't have done any of the junior level, the writing, the editing, the kind of journalism side of things. It has given me pause for thought. I don't really have the answer, but I think it's definitely concerning. Maybe there needs to be more pathways, more entryways into the profession with some guidance and mentoring. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I would love anybody's thoughts.
Yeah, I was going to say, what does everybody think? I think it's a very curious question, Richard. Thank you for asking that. Okay, I don't think we've been spicy enough today, to be honest. Look, I've bought all these props. I bought a fire extinguisher and a fire. So now it's time for a round where I have bought some more props. And
should I be worried?
You should, because we haven't rehearsed this. What we're doing is I'm going to ask you a series of questions that we're going to call the lightning round. Okay, it worked.
Right in the face. Good job.
Did you get Joanna in the face? Okay, I've obviously had a busy day blowing these up. Thank you, team, for providing us lightning bolts. We're doing a lightning round in case that wasn't glaringly obvious. Okay, the lightning round is, Joanna, gut answers.
Okay.
No paragraphs. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. What's one internal comms practice you think we should all stop doing?
Saying yes straight away.
Okay. What's the most underrated IC skill?
Curiosity.
So on brand today. Is over communicating a thing? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. What's one piece of comms advice you are smart to ignore?
Just follow best practice.
Ooh, spicy. Describe great internal comms in 3 words.
No unnecessary waffle.
Very good. What was that? NUW.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Okay, here we go. What's harder, getting leadership to listen or employees to care?
If leaders don't care, employees won't care. So let's go with the leaders.
Okay, there we go. What's a marvelous mess up that you've learned from?
I'm not going to give you specific examples. What I would say is I've made tons of mistakes in my career. Don't talk about them on LinkedIn very much. But it's been the best learning experience.
It's a safe space, Joanna. Let's have them.
Well, no. But mistakes are good. What I would say is every time you make a mistake, you learn from it and you get better. That's certainly my experience over my career.
I've definitely learned, slight deviation from the lightning round. As you make mistakes, as you grow older, you deal with them so differently. My biggest mistake when I was first in the comms team at Canon, the photography and printing brand, I deleted the entire comms drive from the last 25 years. And I cried. It was 5:31. So naturally, like, all of the IT team had gone home. I cried and phoned my mum. And hey, we resolved it together. But I just know now if I, at the age of, mid-30s, phoned my mum and cried, she'd be like, babes, what are you doing? Yeah. But mistakes are good. And obviously, I feel like you learn a lot about yourself, don't you, about how you deal with those. Yeah. Don't delete the comms drive, people. Okay, here we go. One thing you want every internal communicator on this call to remember tomorrow morning when they log on.
That it is not rude or confrontational to ask questions. It is a fundamental part of your job.
Dare I say it's curious?
There you go.
There we go. Joanna, you've survived the lightning round, so you can take this home.
Yes. So
Well done, you.
Aer Lingus, Ashia.
There we go. Well done, Joanna. And did we get you in the head on the...
You did, yeah. Right in the
great.
face. Good job.
We're looking forward to taking that as a little screenshot later. Okay, I'm diving back into the questions because we've had so many, and thank you everyone so much for these questions. I'm diving back into these today. Okay, here we go. What do you think is the future of the intranet?
That is...
Ooh, I think this is a hot question. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a very broad question. Well, I think we've definitely seen, I mean, even over the last decade, and it's ramping up the last few years, a move away from the intranet as something to be avoided because it's the graveyard of all the PDFs and it's where you go to see the final version of things.
Dare I say, is it the same as a newsletter?
I mean, I think it's evolving so much, and now it's becoming something that's actually useful to do your job, and something that helps you as an employee, something that you don't
having a rebrand
from.
Yeah,
I think they're becoming more of the digital workplace, more and more essential, rather than do we need an intranet? It's more like, what one do we want for our purpose?
Right.
I think they're becoming more important.
I think maybe it's just the term intranet.
It's kind of old-fashioned, isn't it? Maybe we need a new, I don't know what we call it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about webinar. We were calling it hot seat. So, yeah. What should we rebrand the internet to? Everybody, let us know what you think. Thank you very much for your question. Okay, next question I've got is from Nick. And he says, this is a very granular question. For a newsletter layout, is it best to have one column of content or two? When so many are reading on mobile, shouldn't it be just one column? This is a granular question, but it's a good one.
Question.
Yeah, it's a good one. What does everybody think? How are you designing your comms, your newsletters? Joanna, what are you saying?
I think it depends on your audience. It depends on the channel. It depends on exactly like you said, where are they reading it? You can always test out a couple of different formats. And a great place to get inspiration for newsletters is like journalism. Go on the websites of very famous, very well-renowned newspapers. They've spent loads of money getting it right. They know what they're doing. So go and have a look and get some inspiration there rather than just making it up yourself. You don't need to.
Great. Thank you very much. What does everybody think about today's session? Has this been valuable? Have you made a friend? Have you got any more questions for Joanna? And please, can we make them the spicier the better? Because like I said, this is a safe space. We've got her in the hot seat. So let's go. 0 columns, Steve says. Newsletters are done. Yes, Steve. I'm on Team Steve. Very valuable. Love Joanna. So fun and helpful. Okay, so I'm going to run the final poll of today's session. And I would really, really love you all to vote here because there are consequences to how this is going to go down. So this is a new format for us. I would love to know what you think. We want to have more guests in the hot seat. But more importantly, has Joanna survived the hot seat experience? This is a poll. It's a yes/no situation. Let us know what you think. Has Joanna survived her hot seat? Yes. Well, no one's going to say no, are they? Because I can see your names. Any feedback, let us know. Has Joanna survived? Should we keep having hot seat guests? Okay. Oh, someone said yes, and you've been on brand.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well, Joanna, I want to say congratulations. You have officially... Something's about to happen. I'm nervous.
You're making me nervous.
Joanna, you have officially survived your hot seat experience, so well done. We're struggling backstage with some props that we had planned, but don't worry, they might come. Woo! Jesus.
Oh my God,
well
I'm
done!
so sorry for screaming at everybody.
We did rehearse the confetti cannon, but it was slightly delayed. Joanna, what a celebration. You have survived your hot seat. Everybody, thank you so much. You've been so active in the chat. Strong gift game, good spicy questions, and a really nice mix. Sorry, there's more confetti cannons being pointed at us, so I'm getting nervous. Oh! Ta-da! Everyone, genuinely, thank you so much. It's very chaotic vibes here now, and there's no air conditioning, so I'm getting very warm. Joanna, have you got any final things you would like to leave us with today after your hot seat experience?
Thank you very much for all your questions. Please distinguish me. Thank you so much for all your questions. Thank you for coming, for your energy and attention. If we're not connected on LinkedIn already, come and find me. you are not alone in internal comms.
Yes. And also, you've got this. I think it's just like the 3 best words. Someone once said to me, you got this.
Yeah.
So you've got this.
Good.
We've got this. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry about the confetti cannons. Hopefully you're not all deaf, and I slightly am. And hopefully I hasn't taken out one of Joanna's eyes. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your day,
Thanks,
rest of your
everyone.
week. We're here and hopefully see you very soon on another Blink webinar. Stay in touch.
Bye.
Bye.